Everyone is telling you that Amazon FBA is oversaturated, that it's too late, that there are no more winning products left to find. And I'm going to tell you the truth, that is complete BS, okay? It is the furthest thing from the truth. And how do I know this? Because I just posted 2 back-to-back interviews with 2 of my members who actually launched very recently inside my program, and they sold out of the product within just a couple of weeks, okay? And I mean, I've spoken to countless women, and I help countless women every single month, and they are inside my 1% Academy, and they're always launching products, okay? So Amazon itself is still growing like crazy, and over half of Amazon sales revenue comes from third-party sellers just like us, everyday people, everyday girls. So if the opportunity was dead, there wouldn't be billions of dollars flowing through the platform every single year. So as someone who has, actually built a 7-figure Amazon business and helped others start and launch theirs, I can assure you that Amazon FBA is not dead. You just really do not know the right way to do it, okay? It takes strategy. So in this video, I'm gonna actually show you exactly how I find winning products in 2025, step by step, so that you can actually finally launch your Amazon business the right way the first time. And actually make sure to stick with me until the very end, because I am gonna be breaking down how one of my members recently launched and did $6,000 in the first 48 hours of launching, so that you can see exactly what works when you actually do validate and execute properly. So this is going to be more of a, off script video on how I think about product research compared to what other Amazon gurus are teaching and what other sellers are doing currently, okay? Most people think, product research is just about finding products with low competition and high demand. Or worse, they just scroll TikTok looking for the most trending viral products, and then they rush to throw them on Amazon. I know it's exciting, seeing some viral new product on TikTok and thinking, oh my gosh, yeah, I'm definitely going to take advantage of this and start selling on Amazon when they make so much money. But no, that's literally the last thing that I want you to do, okay? What we really want to find profitable products that have proven demand, they have consistent sales history, and they are not some, flashy gimmick, okay? Imagine, 3 years from now, will your product still be in demand? Think about it. That's how you really want to actually approach this. Viral products are short-term cash grabs, in my opinion, okay? But consistent demand is what actually builds a real business. And when you build with consistency in mind, you're not just creating another side hustle. You're building something that can actually give you freedom and stability and control over your income long term. Sometimes I feel like it's the most boring products that you would never actually consider, which end up selling out. At least this has been my case and some of my members' cases as well, most of us. A perfect example of this is one of the first products I ever sold on Amazon was a really small kids product. It was pretty basic, it was pretty boring, it was simple, and nobody was really making videos about it. It never went viral. It wasn't anything that you would think would go viral. And most people, I showed it to, they hadn't even heard of this product, and yet it was still generating over $60,000 per month on Amazon. Why? Because it was something a lot of moms actually wanted and were still searching for. And I knew this because I didn't guess. I used the data. I saw that each month over 22,000 people were searching for this main keyword, and I saw that over 1,000 units were being sold every single month from, sellers across the top sellers. So I even checked the sales history as well to make sure that it wasn't seasonal. And I saw that a lot of the top sellers had ratings lower than 4.5 stars. That meant that there were, hundreds of negative reviews, and I could read through those and I could use those to improve, my version of this product. And here's the crazy part. I don't have kids. I never used that product myself, but I launched it anyways, and it sold out in 3 weeks. And that is really the power of doing research the right way. And I want you to think about, what that means for you. Even if you feel like you don't know where to actually start, the data tells you what to do. Okay, so you can just forget about all this like over analyzing things. You just literally have to look at the data. Okay, you don't need to be super passionate either about a product. You need to just follow the numbers, take action, and trust the process. That is really how ordinary moms, students, 9-to-5 workers end up actually creating businesses that change their lives. Girls, I see this all the time in my community. I built a program for girls who, come from all walks of life to be able to do this on their own the first time. So let me walk you through the exact process for finding products in 2025. Okay, my exact process. So step 1, you need to do market analysis. So I personally use FBA Growth Uni, which is the software that I personally, been using for the last couple of years. And I actually recommend this to all of my girls because it's the simplest to use. Now, the reason that I also use this, not only is it very simple, it's just very easy overall, and it gives me all of the live data and tools that I need without overwhelming me. Okay, so it has exactly what you need, doesn't have all this extra stuff. Okay, here's exactly what I look for. I look for products that are generating at least $10,000 per month in revenue. So if a product is making less than $10,000 on average on Amazon, then there just isn't enough demand for it to be worth pursuing. Okay. Second thing, the price point. So I look for products anywhere between the price point of $20 to $70 because that's a sweet spot. That's where customers don't overthink, the purchase, but you still make solid profit margins. So if you go anywhere under $20, I feel like Amazon fees really eat you alive and you're almost not going to make anything. Okay. So if you go over $100, it becomes harder to actually convert buyers because they hesitate on big ticket purchases. I also like to look for products that have less than 500 reviews on the top competitors. So on the first page, because that's where I know that I can actually come into the market and compete. And I always check search volume trends. Are they stable? Or even better, are they growing? If they're declining, that's a red flag. Okay. Now, step number 2, the premium brand test. Oof. I feel like this is where I separate myself from most sellers. Okay. I always ask myself, can I actually create a premium version of this product that actually justifies a higher price point? For example, let's say you want to sell like a lip plumber on Amazon. Okay. You pull it up and you see 50 different competitors selling the exact same thing. The last thing that you ever want to try to do is just launch another copycat of that product. So instead, you should be asking, what can I actually add or what can I actually improve for this product? Could I change the ingredients? Can I create an all natural organic product? Can I, add, make this like a vegan lip plumber? Could you plumper, sorry. Or could you design the bottle in a way that actually looks high end and stands out in, on the listing? Think about all of these things. Think about how you could actually, improve the formula so that it lasts longer, so that it actually fixes the problem that customers are complaining about. Okay, it's very simple, but it makes all the difference. So one of my members took a generic, home kitchen product. She upgraded it to be wireless and she had different modes and she made it portable and branded it beautifully. Pretty, not anything crazy with the branding, but it looked very modern. So anyways, she now charges $20 more than the average competitor and still sells out every single month. Now that is really the power of premium positioning, okay, of creating a premium brand. Most sellers compete on price and the money is really made, when you compete on perception. Okay, when you compete on perception, that part. Okay, and here's what it actually, ties back to you. Here's how it actually ties back to you. Imagine having the freedom to, create something better, not just cheaper, but that one decision to position yourself as a premium brand can make all of the difference between scraping by with, razor thin margins to actually being able to build, a business that actually gives you, amazing income and a lifestyle that you are dreaming about. It's going to allow you to live a life full of abundance. This is the difference, okay? By creating a premium brand. That's why it's like so damn important, okay? Now let's go over step number 3, which is actually supplier validation. So this is what I feel like most beginners skip and it ends up costing them thousands in the long run, okay? Here's what I do. So I message, depending on what product they choose, there will be more or less suppliers available, but I try to aim to message at least 10 different suppliers, okay? And then I go back and forth to see, how they actually communicate. And then I go ahead and actually order a couple different samples from at least the top 3 suppliers so that I can actually test their product side by side and I can make sure that I am getting the very best possible quality out there, okay? I also always ask about customization and whether they're actually able to make the improvements that I want, okay? This is very important, okay? They need to be able to make these little small improvements, okay? And then I also go ahead and check their MOQ after that to make sure that it actually matches my launch plan. And then after that, I just confirm the manufacturing timelines and shipping timelines so that there are no surprises for me, okay? And I watch for red flags. So If a supplier takes forever to respond and they refuse, customizations, or they only accept, sketchy payment methods, then I cut them off immediately. Immediately. I don't waste any time. Okay. And this is why I feel like samples matter so much. Two products can look identical in a picture, but when you hold them in your hand, the difference in quality is night and day. And here's something very powerful. When you commit to holding, those suppliers accountable, you're already operating like a real business owner, not just someone trying Amazon. And that is really the mental shift. And that's really, I feel like, what really like separates sellers who give up in 3 months from those who actually stick around and actually scale their products and actually change their life. Step 4 is competition gap analysis. So this is where I feel like a lot of the gold really is. Now, here's what I do. So I always look at the top 10 competitors and I study the customer complaints in the review section, okay? Missing features or benefits, whether it could be just poor branding or presentation, or just, lack of premium positioning. Let me give you an example of what this would look like. So let's say, you're researching a pet grooming glove. One of the top complaints could be that it just slips off really easily. And boom, there's your opportunity. It's so simple, right? But it makes all the difference. Or you notice that every single listing has the exact same dull blue color. Branding gap. I don't just read the 1-star reviews. I focus a lot on the 3-star reviews because those customers are almost happy, but they're not quite happy. And they will tell you exactly what needs to be fixed, okay? This is a pro tip right here. And you can even use AI. You can say, here, copy and paste these 50 reviews into ChatGPT and ask it to actually summarize the top 5 complaints. That's gonna save you quite a bit of time, okay? Something I wish I freaking had when I first started my journey. Anyways, so if you're inside the 1% Academy, forget doing all of that. We actually have AI agents that are trained specifically for FBA. So you can literally drop in a screenshot of your product idea from Amazon and it will actually analyze the competition for you and it will give you improvements and it'll explain how you could actually just create the premium version that we've been talking about and even what to add to the product to make it a bundle. It's amazing. Like times have changed for the better. So it can even generate 50 brand names, logo concepts, packaging mockups, all in seconds. Just upload a picture of the product that you actually want, and it's really that simple. And the truth is, you're not competing with old school Amazon sellers anymore, okay? We are competing with the ones that that know how to actually leverage AI. And if you learn this now, you're ahead, and it's really not that difficult. So we have over I think 15 AI tools now in the Academy that actually automate pretty much everything from the supplier research to budget planning to branding like a professional. In the end, the main thing that you want to try to do is just differentiate, okay? Please, everyone needs to differentiate their product, okay? You don't want to rush this process and just quickly try to launch a product and just be like everyone else on Amazon, okay? You do not also just want to guess or sell something viral. So follow this process, improve the product, position yourself as the best option, and I promise you, you will be on your way to success, okay? To give you a real life example, one of my members, Ashley, she launched her product and she made $6,000 in the first 48 hours, okay? Her product got to page 1 and it stayed there, and then she went on to become the #1 new release. Why? Because we validated everything before the launch. She didn't just, waste money on a product that no one wanted. She didn't end up with 2,000 units collecting dust in her garage. She didn't end up trying to, compete on So that is everything that I have on actually finding winning products in 2025 for Amazon, okay? So if you actually take this advice and you apply it, there's absolutely no reason why your product should fail, okay? Avoid these rookie mistakes, like choosing products just because you personally like them, or just ignoring reviews, or picking heavy, bulky items that kill your shipping costs. Or yeah, at the end of the day, finding products isn't about luck. It's about knowing how to actually analyze the data and think like a business owner, not just a shopper. And if you want me to actually make another video actually walking you through step by step on how to actually launch the product once you've chosen it, go ahead and drop a comment saying launch strategy, and I will work on that next just for you, okay? And if you're serious about actually becoming an Amazon seller this year, I do host free live calls pretty much every week right now that you can actually join. And that's why I do want you to click the first link in the description to actually secure your spot, because the spots do fill up and I literally break down everything that you would want to know about this business. So this training is really only for serious action takers who are actually ready to invest in themselves and their future. So go ahead and click the link right now below, secure your spot, and I will see you in the training where I will show you exactly how to actually implement this strategy step by step.